Now we have a quorum. Welcome to the Personnel, Public Information, Human Relations, and Veterans Committee of Metro Council. Today is Tuesday, August 3rd, 2021. The chair is present. Vice Chair Hauser, Councilmember Roberts is here. Councilmember Suara, Councilmember Taylor is here. Councilmember Withers. Councilmember Young. Okay, we have a quorum. We have one item on our not so lengthy agenda today. BL 2021-830 by Hurt and others. Amends Title III of the Metro Code to delete obsolete provisions and add certain Department of Emergency Communications employees to the Fire and Police Service Pension Plan. For purposes of discussion, do we have a motion?
So moved.
So moved.
Motion is made, properly seconded. Councilmember Hurt,
Yes.
you're recognized for explanation on the bill.
Thank you so very much. I am just so pleased to be here to present this legislation. As I said in Budget and Finance yesterday, it's long overdue. These are our first responders. And because we are in personnel, I want you to know that they have to do over 320 hours of training before they even get on the job. And once they get on the job, I think it's like 18 weeks, but it is just a gazillion amount of training that has to be done. And for the work that they do each and every day is just phenomenal. We had this approved for our fire and police, and we came back and added in members of the Sheriff's Department, and I think that this is the third leg of completing that whole spectrum and taking care of our first responders. And you can see by the attendance of people here, we've got members of the Benefits Board and the dispatchers themselves, the director, Mr. Martini, who's just done an amazing job since coming on, and of course the union that has been working for this. We went through study and formulating committee and also the Benefits Board. It's been about a year of us working on this to get to this point. And if you would be so kind is to give these fine people an opportunity to share some of their stories.
We would absolutely love to hear from them. Without objection, we'll do so. Anyone go around the room that would like to say something, feel free to.
Well, let me start first because I know that Mr. Rucker, Stacy Rucker, received a proclamation from the Benefits Board today for his long extended service that he's given to the Benefits Board, and I think it's fitting for us to recognize him for the work that he's done.
Thank you.
And with that, you have the floor.
Thank you. I kind of figured that. One of the things that I talked about when I was on the benefit board, this went on for like 7 months, if I'm not mistaken, quite a while. And so you're back and forth kind of wondering what's going on. So we all did our due diligence and read the material and talked to the people and everything. And I've been at the 911 center many times. I'm a fireman. I'm a fire captain, so I've been on for 28 years, going on 29, so I've been around them a lot. These people right here are the people that we listen to on the way to a fire. They're the ones that we hear when they have catastrophes, anything like that. They're the one that calms us down. So my whole thing is back in the day when it got taken away from them, I didn't think it was fair in the first place. So it just seemed that it was the natural thing, the progression for us to do to get them back into the pension plan with us. We have plenty of, everything's fine. As far as money and stuff like that, it's not going to hurt, so nothing like that, so it's good. In order, and also Director Martini can talk about this a little bit more, but in order to have more people stay longer is to have something like these pensions. So if you have any questions for me, and I'm sure you probably do, I'll be glad to answer anything that you have.
Okay. I know some of the dispatchers would like to. So you want to just hold the questions till later? Did you want to say, Director Hall, did you want to make a comment?
I kind of certainly would welcome you to actually hear from the dispatchers themselves, but just personally as a member of the benefit board, having seen this come forward a couple of times, not successfully until now, I will tell you that this has been, there's been a change. I think there's been a better understanding not only of the mental health stressors that are affecting these people. I know I personally have been on a journey on this. This wasn't something that the Benefit Board or Study and Formulating Committee took lightly. They had a lot of special called meetings to discuss and really debate the merits of this. And honestly, when you really think through it, if you think about what they're doing every single day, they are, the way I described it in my journey of thought with the Benefit Board was they are literally getting a call, and without the use of their hands or their eyes, they're having to assess an entire emergency scene, whether it's a fire, whether it's an emergency that's a medical emergency, whether it is a public safety emergency, and they're having to do that without a lot of the things that we take for granted every day. And then they're having to assess not only helping that person on the other end, other people that might be helping that person, and preparing our other first responders to actually show up and use their eyes and hands. But they are having to paint this entire picture accurately for them. And honestly, we need the strongest people we can in these positions at any given time. It will save lives not only for our citizens and residents, but our other first responders. And I will tell you, I feel like it is the trifecta that Council Lady Hurt has described. So just know that I even was on a journey of thought. This wasn't a slam dunk for me, but we really got into this as the Benefit Board, and it comes without any objection from Study and Formulating Committee and without any objection from the Employee Benefit Board. So these were unanimous decisions that came forward, and I think that probably speaks more than anything.
10-0.
Okay. Anyone else would like to have the floor to say something?
Yeah, I
Feel
think Elisa
free to.
and Kay wanted to speak.
I am a 36-year Metro employee. 28 of those years have been at 911. I know this has been she was telling you, it's been a journey. I know that we've been working on it. I'm also a union chief steward. So we've been working on this for 20 years. This is something that we have really tried to get across. And a lot of it comes from comes to the point of longevity, because a lot of people come into this and it's a career for them. We've got employees here today that have been here 3 years and less, and they love the job and they want to stay. Turnover is huge in our department because it is so stressful. And I just want to say painting the picture is something, and hearing the things that we hear on the phones is sometimes something you just cannot get out of your head. And we never know the outcome of it. We can't get up and take a break and walk around after every phone call, because there'd be nobody left to take any phone calls on the floor. And the city is growing. We had a COVID year, and you would think that would have been a down year for us to get a little bit of rest. Phone calls never stopped. The city didn't stop moving or growing. So I appreciate the journey that Sharon has been on with us, and this last year to finally get to this. It's a little unbelievable that, yes, we finally made it over this hurdle. And I think people stop categorizing us as a secretarial position and start realizing that the firefighters can't go to a scene unless we tell them what's there. The police are the same way. They depend on what we tell them that we've heard, not knowing what's really there, but we can lay out the picture for them. So I just want to thank everyone for approving this, so we can continue to grow at the Emergency Communications Center. Thanks.
Anyone else?
I'm Kay, and I'm a 20-year veteran at ECC. I'm a trainer. I'm also a union steward. So just thank you all so much for listening to this. And, everyone thinks like a 911 dispatcher. They think like, oh, when people are shot or having a heart attack, that's all they use y'all for. You drive around the city every day. You think about it, you'll see like water main breaks somewhere. We've taken a call on that and had to deal and send the right people. Every Titans game you have, we're dispatching those officers inside and outside to keep the city safe and to get the cars in and out. Marathons, we're towing the cars, we're notifying the wreckers. On the radios, we notify different department chaplain if they're needed on the scene for something. I mean, just the whole city. If you've seen a tree down or something, we've had a part in it, we've got a call on it. We do the whole city. take care of the officers, the firefighters, and the medics, keeping track of them and doing multiple things all the time. So we just thank y'all for listening to this and putting us in this category, finally. I joke with them, I'm like, it's 2021, we're not in that category. But we're finally getting to it, so we're very appreciative. You know, I told them when I started, I'm only staying 3 months. And I look like a big fat liar, but I'm still there. Life happens, and you know, we all have our own personal lives, and then we're tied on a cord, a 3-foot cord, for 20 years, 8 hours a day.
Sometimes
And like
more.
me, I work a ton of overtime, and that pay was up there last year, but 5 kids, I've got to do a lot of overtime. So, but on a 3-foot cord, that many hours every day, years and years and years, wears on you. And you talk about the PTSD that we're gonna have. My first group of kids before I worked there, go out in the yard and play. You can go ride your bikes anywhere. This one, I'm like, carry the mace if you're gonna go check them out. We pull up to a gas station, I'm like, no, I don't see the clerk, let's not get out. It changes and it rubs off on them. So it cycles, but it's just a whole nother world out there. As much, I can remember when I first started, there would be 3 call takers on the floor at night overnight. And they would put me on 911 only. I'd be like, they're trusting me with this whole city. But you know, now 3 wouldn't even cover 10 minutes of it. And you're on that cord, next call, next call, next call, an alarm going off behind you. And you're thinking, I've got to help this one enough and complete before I move on. But you've got that, next one's coming, next one's coming. And so it just never stops. And then you go home and you lay in the bed and you're thinking, oh, I probably should have sent a medic to that homeless guy sleeping on that bench downtown. I know he's there every day and they call, but maybe today he might have been in a sugar coma. You're just laying there worried. Diabetic coma. He could have had a heart attack last night. But I know he's there every day. So, you know, it's just, it wears on you. And I joke, like, I wonder what kind of things we're going to yell out in the nursing homes. The nurses have no idea what we're going to talk about, you know? It just worries me. But thank y'all for listening and finally moving us over.
Thank you. Anyone?
I gotta run to my next committee.
Yeah. Well, let's go ahead then, let's go ahead and take the vote.
I do have
on the bill.
one question on the, is
Yes.
this, Director, is this retroactive for long-term employees? So
It
will we-
is. It's gonna be treated just like we did the correctional officers and then the addition of those, quote, behind the wall.
Good.
Not correctional officers, but majority of the time with the inmates. So if you are a Metropolitan government employee as of December 1 of 2021, any time that you served in any of these classifications in your career will be counted as public safety pension. So you don't have to still be in the classification. You have to be an active employee. Anybody that's retired, you have the benefit. Anybody that's left invested, that's what you earned. But if you are a Metropolitan government employee and you've served in one of those classifications as of December 1 of this year, you will get service for that time retroactively for the time you served in those positions.
Outstanding.
Okay.
It's a good question. I didn't even realize that.
Very good question.
You
Is there?
know, let me just say
Go
this.
ahead.
On Christmas Day when we had the bombing, we all knew about the one bombing. They had 8 calls for a bombing. You know, to really understand what's going on. And if someone, you know, getting a job at 40, 35 or 40 years old is still, you know, that's pretty cool. But the way it was, they'd have to work until they were 85 in order to get a pension. And that's ridiculous. So thank you all very much. I appreciate it, and I move for approval.
And are there any other questions on the bill itself? We'll hear from more of you afterwards, but while we have a quorum, we need to go ahead and take the vote. All those in favor of BL 2021-830, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? And the bill is recommended out of committee. You can go to your next committee, and what we'd like to do.
I got one as well.
You got one as well? Okay. But we're happy to hear from anyone that wants to continue to address whoever is remaining, but I think most everyone has to get to another committee though.
Thank you very much.
And just as chair of the committee though, I'd like to say to everyone, thank you for being here. And thank you for what you do for our city, and it's really so meaningful to hear what we've heard here today. It means a great deal, and we appreciate you and want to do right by you. And I appreciate Councilmember Hurt for carrying this legislation too, and I look forward to the discussion on the floor.
Thank you very much. You know, it's not public hearing, so I don't know if they will allow the dispatchers or Director Martini or Director Hall to speak during the regular council meeting or not.
Yeah, I don't know.
So that's the reason why I did ask that they come to the committee meetings, because I wanted you all to hear.
Well, I'm glad you did, and I'm glad they're here.
Thank you.
Certainly.
Me
Just
too.
an observation for this whole group, the perfect combo and recipe to get this successfully passed, right? These DEC employees were able to empower Director Martini, who in turn could also empower Council Lady Hurt, and I honestly think Steve made the best business case. This has been considered before, and there wasn't a strong business case behind it, and it was hard for people to understand. And I just want to give kudos to not only the staff for empowering and giving information that made Director Martini stronger, but Director Martini did an excellent job with partnership from the union, partnership from the employees, making the strongest business case I've ever seen for this, because it has been considered and not recommended before. So I think like this is the right combination of successful leaders that really got it across the line.
Let me go add my
See,
name.
I think it's, you know,
I'ma add
you
my
talked
name on
about
this.
the
Yeah,
traffic. You talked about.
We'd love to have you, Taylor.
Brandon, where you going?
He's gonna go add his name.
I'm gonna add my name before they close down out here, and then I'm
Not
gonna.
public safety's in here, isn't it?
Yes, but he wants to add his name to the legislation.
Health
What's
is
that
in
his name
here.
to
Health-
Public safety is next door, I think.
Public safety is
So-
next.
Oh, okay, because we gotta speak over there too.
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but,
Public safety at 5.
okay.
Thank
You
you.
talk about the trifecta with the police and fire and this. Then you talk about this having gone 3 times. And then for the staff, Dr. Martini and me, is also 3. And I believe it's all about the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And that's the reason why it all works, because it's divinely ordered at this time for us to be in this place to do what we know is the will to be done.
I agree with that.
Good counseling.
Thank you for your time.
We just concluded. And you missed a lot. I said, and you missed a lot.
Sure I did. I'm sure.
Thank you, really.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Appreciate all of you so much.
Thank you. I have 1:30 on my calendar for some reason.